could be if they're available. But what I do know is how much I could get for that number 4 pick. And you know how the draft is. You're going to miss on some guys even if you're good. I just look mathematically. If I could get 2 or 3 first-round picks for a 4 pick, I have no certainty Trey Lance is going to be a star. If you ran Atlanta, would you move out of the 4 spot if you had Matt Ryan still?
Yeah, I think really if Jones goes to San Francisco, the debate's going to be Justin Fields and Trey Lance, and both, and even put Mac in there, put him in there. Those 3 guys, there's question marks and there's uncertainty. I don't know if you want to take that chance with the 4th pick. I personally would trade it. I mean, they can get another year or 2 out of, Arthur Smith, the new head coach at Atlanta. He's an offensive guy. He should be able to come up. He's going to run the ball, find ways to extend Matt Ryan's career probably another year or 2. So I would definitely trade out of it and get as many picks as I can get to help our team.
All right. Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones, according to reports, loves Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. Now, I don't know how it worked with Jimmy, but is it your understanding if Jerry loves a guy, are they going to draft him?
Yes. I mean that's too easy of a question, Colin. No, but you know what? The tight end position, I'm going to give you both sides of it. Number one, a tight end like Pitts that can move and catch the ball like a receiver, but yet he's adequate enough in their block. And, I mean, that puts a lot of stress on a defense. Is he lined up inside? Is he lined up outside? A little bit like Belichick did back in the day with Gronk and company. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, I would not put a tight end with the offensive talent that they have ahead of a good top defensive lineman, an impact player that I would call a closer, somebody that can come in and close a game for you. And I know they haven't had great success on defense, but I think, they sooner or later, they got to get some players, and help the defense a little bit. If Jerry wants him, they're going to take him, but I would be hard-pressed to move up the draft a tight end. I really would be.
What would you do if you ran Miami now? They have the 6th pick. There's going to be an offensive lineman there. There's going to be Kyle Pitts there. There's going to be a great receiver there. Where would you go if you were Miami?
Yeah, I would get a receiver. I love that they've kind of made a commitment. Now they've backed off all the quarterback trade talk, and it sounds like they've made the commitment. They got rid of Fitzmagic, and it's to his job. And I love that because, it was Troy Aikman's. I was there personally. It was Troy Aikman's 3rd year when Troy kind of came into his own. It was Terry Bradshaw's 5th year at the Steelers when he came into his own. So, for people, I know it's a microwave society league today, but, you got to give two a little bit of time and you got to give them some help. I would go, there's going to be some great receivers at that point, and I would give my young quarterback some help. I really would.
When you were in a Cowboy draft room or a Bear draft room or a Miami Dolphin draft room, and you've always had a good eye for talent. Both you and Jimmy are known as guys who got. You did Aaron Donald at Pittsburgh. You got him to the pit, and Shady McCoy and Darrelle Revis. You've always had a great eye for talent. Do you ever? I always think this is funny. You ever draft a guy any place, and you get him in, and you just know within 2 weeks, oh crap, he can't play.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't draft. I was at Dallas. We drafted an offensive lineman fairly high, and we drafted Leon Lett. I believe it was the 7th round, 8th round. And I think the second practice, Leon Lett was going against this higher draft pick. And I can remember going into the meeting that night and Jimmy sitting there saying, well, I'm just watching our 2 draft picks, and I know one of the 2 guys was a good pick. Now, you guys figure out who I'm talking about.
That is funny. So Sam Darnold went to Carolina. You always told me this, is you can lose a game, you can't lose the locker room. Right. And I really feel like Adam Gase this year just kind of lost the room. I suspect Darnold's going to work in Carolina. Do you?
I have my doubts. I've always questioned, and this is what. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to circle back, and your listeners, your viewers aren't going to want to hear this because I was one of the few guys during the year that was a Mitch Trubisky fan.
Okay.
Over all the other choices. And this is what I would tell you right now, Colin. Take Sam Darnold's resume the last 3 years, Carson Wentz, I don't know, Bridgewater, Garoppolo, and Mitch Trubisky, and put up blind resumes. Okay? And put all the quarterback stats you want. Rushing, completions, touchdowns, interceptions, whatever you want. And put no names on them. And just put up these 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and you compare the numbers, and you pick the top 2 guys. And everyone's gonna be shocked, because as the Bears were going through this quarterback dilemma, and still are, I was doing that with all these quarterbacks, and I was going on all the shows in Chicago, and I was saying, well, I hear you. Do you need a change? Sure, you need a change. Mitch needs a change, and the Bears need a change. Their fans need a change. But I'm telling you, you're not making a change because, quote, a few of these guys have performed better. So I really have question marks about Sam Darnold. I truly do. And I love the kid. I've met him personally when I was doing college football with Fox. We did a USC game. Matt Liner and I were talking to him after the game. Great kid. But, I have doubts. I got to be honest.
That was good. Story time with Dave Wannstedt, who's I love it. It's so much fun for me. Coach, you go enjoy. Go have a cigar for me today, okay? Why don't you light one up for me?
Thank you. I may do that.
All right.
See ya.
You do that. Dave Wannstedt, anytime. Couple rounds of golf this week with lovely wife. It's a good life. Discover matches all the cash back you earn in your credit card into your first year. Learn more at discover.com/yes. Discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply. Joy Taylor with the news. No. Turn on the draft. But did you, in your jobs, did you have a say in the draft? Would you go to the owner or the GM and say, listen, I love this guy?
Absolutely. And I think that the smart GMs understand, Colin. And I remember talking to Ron Wolf when he was the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. Mike Holmgren was the head coach. And we were talking about how much input coaches versus general managers. And obviously somebody's got to make the final decision. But his point, and it was a good one, he says, you know what, you can go in there, and if you're a general manager, you can draft an offensive lineman, as an example. But if your offensive line coach does not like this kid, he's not going to spend the time needed to develop him and to make him the best player that he can be. So all of a sudden, you lose as a GM and he loses as a coach. So I think it's critical that they don't have to love him, but they have to see some positive qualities in him for sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't take him.
Yeah. So with a quarterback, I'm not sure if you ever drafted a quarterback or were in a room to draft a quarterback. Listen, you got to win by the pocket in the NFL. You always have been, but increasingly mobility matters. When you look at a Mac Jones, Coach, listen, he's below average athletically. I mean, he'd be slow in the 80s. Are you concerned at all that he played for a great program, was very rarely trailing, under duress, and athletically, he's way below average?
He's probably athletically and reputation. We had a quarterback at Miami that we won a national championship with. His name was Steve Walsh.
Yeah.
In fact, Steve Walsh, the last time the Bears won a road playoff game was when I was there, and Steve was my quarterback at the Bears. So I see Mac Jones a lot like Steve Walsh. But let me give you story time, Colin, okay?
Okay.
When we were at the Dallas Cowboys, our first year going through the first draft, we had a scout, and he had been there a long time.